My name's Sarah McNair-Landry, and I'm 21, and I'm from Iqaluit, a small town up in Nunavut, Baffin Island. I started doing trips when I was young. Well, I've been dog sledding since I remember. I grew up, my parents had a dog team, and we were always out there. And so I started doing trips really young in Greenland, and I had the chance to go to the South and North Pole. Yeah, Eric and I will be putting the dog teams together. So we're going to buy and rent dogs, and we need about 30 dogs for this trip. So 3 teams, and then it's, putting these teams together and making sleds and, just getting everything ready and the logistics of getting the dogs up to Resolute. And it's a pretty small world, and Will Steger is pretty well known. So everybody kind of, you always hear about him and these trips he's done. And the first time I met him was he was passing through where I live, Iqaluit, for this last trip, and we met there. And then he invited me on a section of the Baffin Island trip from 2 communities. So it was a 2-week section. And that's where we really got to know each other. We started talking about Ellesmere and planning this next trip. Will's a great guy. He's done so many great expeditions, and he also has this huge environmental part, which I think is really neat. Too many times you see these expeditions, especially now, it's a hot topic, and they go the environmental route just because they can get funding better, and they throw this little paragraph about this big on the website, and they call them, we're doing this for climate change, and they get tons of money, and it's really for them. They're going up there because they want to be the first to. So that's what's really cool about this trip. Like, it's not a pole, it's Ellesmere Island, which is actually probably more beautiful, and it's really about, about trying to raise awareness about climate change and about bringing youth up there and getting youth involved. So that's what's really cool about this trip. It'll be an amazing opportunity to learn. Like, there's a bunch of us doing research both on the historical and environmental, and that'll be really neat. And especially with this whole climate change becoming quite a big topic, I'm sure it'll be useful eventually down the road. And I'm very interested in film, so it'll be really neat to work on this project, filming, and hopefully learn more. Most people that are out there doing global warming stuff wear suits and ties, and they're 45 or 50. So this idea that Will had is really neat, because we're coming back and, just talking with friends and peers, and, it's a younger generation, and it's the next generation. And it's definitely an interesting way to pass it on to youth, instead of some guy sitting there, reading out his thesis on how climate change is affecting the North. Yeah, it's definitely more of an interactive way to pass on the message. So it's kind of like trying to convince youth that, we need to change our lifestyle, and they'll be the ones living for the next 50 years, affecting the planet for the next, 50 years. And we need to do it now, and trying to get kind of the new generation to bring in this new lifestyle, living more ecologically friendly, and kind of bring in these new ways. I think the biggest thing is everybody needs to start doing it themselves. One big thing that bothers me is I know so many people who preach it, and then you turn around and you look at their lifestyle, and they drive their car everywhere, and they don't even try. So it's one thing doing the little things, but they don't even try. And people need to stop preaching about it and actually look at themselves and be like, well, I can make my life better. And I think that's one of the big keys. It's cold, it's long days, you're working really hard, and it's just trying to keep your morale up and keep going. And there's all the dangers, like the polar bears and the open water or crevasses that are always difficult to deal with. But I think what really gets to you are the long days, day after day of being out there in the cold and long days, and that's usually the hardest to deal with. So I just got back from Greenland. I did a trip from the southern tip to the northern tip, and most of the media try to always, did you notice signs of global warming? And to tell, it was my 3rd time there, and I haven't been studying it for 20 years, so I can't really tell you. Like the Arctic Ocean, I've been there once, and many people say there's more water than usual and there's more breaking up the ice, and from stories I've heard, it seemed like there's more water, but I don't study that, and I can't say, this is a sign of global warming, this wasn't here 20 years ago. I'd like to definitely continue expeditions and, get into these remote areas, and Also, you know, we had this amazing opportunity to go up to Ellesmere, and it's a great way to share it with everybody else, you know, through video and photos and blogs and just what it's like up there, and kind of share the beauty, and this is why we need to preserve these regions of the Arctic.